Yeah, it's been we're getting down to the final week or whatever. So now it's just about maintaining especially physically. It's not like in a week your cardio and conditioning isn't really going to increase, so it's about
Yeah,
keeping
yeah,
up what we've built so far. Yeah, and it's just about getting mentally ready. Ronda's like one of the best female combat sport athletes in the world, and so I have to understand that it's gonna be painful even if I win. So it's just going to this place where I'm willing to accept that to do what needs to be done. So look, I'm not denying that Ronda is like history making. She's one of the best fighters that's ever come along. She changed the landscape for women fighting, where like Dana White himself had said women were never going to be in the UFC, and she's the one that changed it for us. I don't deny all that, and I was fighting like almost a decade before her, and so it would be easy for me to like whine and cry about how MMA was and she got noticed and all this, but I that doesn't bother me at all because she's Ronda, right? Like
yeah,
I
yeah,
like so on our team as far as MMA goes, she was our leader. She was the face of our team.
yeah,
And I didn't have a problem with that. As it comes to professional wrestling, I'm the one that made her fall in love with that. I'm the one that got signed first. She saw how happy I was. She said it herself in interviews. She saw how
yeah, yeah,
happy I was and wanted to give it a try. She's come to me for advice as it comes to pro wrestling. So I just as far as wrestling and WWE is concerned, it should be me that's the leader. It
yeah,
should be me that's the
definitely.
the face. This is my thing. And just when I was in NXT and Ronda was separate from me doing her own thing, I had a lot of success.
Yeah,
I had probably the most dominant run with that title.
yeah, yeah,
I had no problems. And it just seems like ever since she's come back, I've just been her sidekick. And
yeah, yeah, yeah,
there's been no effort to she's done nothing to change that. She's done nothing to give me a push forward and say this is Shayna's thing. And I just saw and here's the thing is that me and Ronda were the tag champs. I still say it to this day. I don't think anyone was beating us for a long time.
yeah,
But it just came down to do I want to go another couple years of defending these titles and being Ronda's sidekick, or is it time to finally do my thing? Because she wasn't. I just knew she wasn't going to give me that. So
yeah, yeah.
this is what I
Um,
love to do, and I need to take that. So I think that yeah, as far as physically and in the ring, we know each other inside out. We spent every day our job was to go to the gym and fight each other. We were
yeah,
sparring partners. So that's that going into it knowing that every advantage I have against her, she also has against me. So
definitely. Yeah,
really this game planning has been just really changing my mentality, trying to train my mind to get to this different stage of intensity because as I said before, even if I win, it's going to hurt. She's gonna cause me a lot of pain. I'm gonna cause her a lot of pain. No one's coming out of this unscathed, win or lose. And so it's understanding that and accepting that. And it takes a certain anyone that's played sports understands if
yeah,
you
yeah,
roll your
definitely. Yeah,
if you roll your ankle at home working in the garden, that hurts and it puts you out for the day.
definitely.
But in
Yeah,
the middle of a game, you get to a different place mentally and you can fight through that. So it's just being able to flip that switch on command when I need to. So really the training and the game planning has been all about getting to that different level of mentality. Well, I think that I take care of Ronda Rousey and I called for it to be I called for it to be a fight. So
yeah,
I'm gonna beat Ronda Rousey at what she's the best in the world at. I think everyone's head has to look my direction after that. So whether that happens in a month or a year, I think that's the
yeah,
eventual path that happens. My job up until I get that opportunity is to make everyone's head turn or even turn away because they can't bear to see what I'm doing to someone in the ring. I need to be letting people know that I'm here for real. So I was very fortunate in that my coaches in MMA, Josh Barnett and Billy Robinson, they're also professional wrestlers. And my particular area of expertise in mixed martial arts, like everyone, I studied Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I studied Muay Thai kickboxing and boxing.
Yeah.
But I also was very known for my catch wrestling. And catch wrestling, for people that don't know, looks a lot like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, except you can also pin people as a way to win. So there's a whole string of submission holds and techniques based on the fact that the person isn't okay just lying on their back. They're trying to get up. And I think that when you come from mixed martial arts, you get used to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu where the people are okay on their back and you forget about this whole branch of techniques. So I was already jumping the line because I knew those techniques from catch wrestling. So I think that made my transition easier than maybe most other fighters that have transitioned. But obviously there's a lot of similarities too. Like it's a very familiar feeling to stand behind a curtain and walk out to a ring where someone's waiting to beat you up. I knew what that felt like. I was comfortable with that. And I think like the hardest thing is just the pacing is different. So in MMA you have like 3 5-minute rounds, and that, so you can train for that. Whereas a match in WWE might be 5 minutes, it might be 20 minutes. So it's just training to be prepared for more variables. And then just listening to the crowd. In sports, I think WWE is a very specific sport and unique in that you have to open your ears and listen to the crowd. And in other sports, in fighting, in whatever, in basketball and anything, you learn to turn the audience off. You don't want to hear them. Whereas in WWE, you have to listen to them to really be successful. So that was probably the biggest difference. Oh man, I was really into martial arts. So I think that, and I also think that the two separately. So I was a big fan of pro wrestling, and then I was also a fan of martial arts and martial arts movies. And I think the two met, and that's how I became a wrestler. So, I was a big Bruce Lee fan. I was a big Jet Li fan, watching these martial arts films growing up. And then when the UFC came around, and then I'm a martial arts fan, and the UFC, when it first came around, was kind of branded as like, which martial art is the best martial art? And you had like Karate Guy versus Kung Fu Guy. And then now it's evolved into the sport we have today. But I was interested in the UFC because of my love of martial arts and how it was branded as this like martial arts competition. And then as the sport grew and it turned into jiu-jitsu, and now I started watching Japanese MMA. And so now you have these catch wrestlers. You had like Ken Shamrock, also former WWE superstar. Like these guys come in with catch wrestling and shoot fighting in the end. And it just opened my world. So then it was turning into like, now I'm looking at wrestlers like Dean Malenko and these more technical guys, because now I'm seeing the relation between MMA and pro wrestling. And I started seeing it with different eyes. So it was a big evolution that kind of just met in the middle. I just want to say thanks to everyone for supporting me. After I take care of business at Summerslam and shut Ronda Rousey up, we're gonna go on a wild ride after that. So keep following along. Well, I would love to. I love travel. I love experiencing other parts of the world. I think it's important to us as human beings. So I would love to share my craft with everyone all over the world.